With the emergence of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as the official flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the opposition party now have to convince Nigerians to vote for them in the 2023 elections. One of the battles they need to win before February 27, 2023 is to get the backing of their Southeast members of the party. Some members of the party have initially made it clear that they won't support any candidate that isn't from the region. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, on Monday met with River State Governor Nyesom Wike, who he defeated at the party's primary election. Mr. Paul Ibe, Atiku's spokesman, said the meeting was part of the promise to reach out to all the party stakeholders after the election, a move to unify the party ahead of the 2023 elections. The River State Governor on Wednesday evening returned the visit as he met with Atiku at his Abuja residence. Wike's visit happened amidst a search by Atiku and the opposition party for an acceptable southern running mate. The question now is, will southern eastern states back the candidacy of the former vice president ahead of 2023? Joining us on the show as we discuss the reaction to Atiku's emergence in the southeast region is the PDP's Uche Onyeagocha, former secretary to the Imo State Government and PDP candidate for Imo East Senatorial District. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you very much for joining us. First, let me start by congratulating you. You now have the PDP senatorial ticket for Imo East, right? That's correct? Imo East Senatorial District.
Yes, thank you very much.
Maybe later you will tell us how you managed to defeat a serving senator, and now you got the ticket. What strategy you adopted? But first, let's start with the PDP convention in Abuja that produced former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as the flag bearer of the party, putting paid on the platform of the PDP to the aspirations of the aspirants from the Southeast in particular, and from the South in general. What are your thoughts on what transpired?
Well, I would say that it was a free and fair election. I would say that there was a lot of horse trading, as there always will be and has ever been in presidential primaries. There was a winner and there were losers, and everybody is trying to mend fences and reconcile the winner with the losers. And I'm sure at the end of the day, we're going to have a stable party prepared to go into the 2023 elections.
What is your feeling on the disappointment that's been expressed by some members of your party from the Southeast region that the party decided to go with a northern candidate and not somebody from the Southeast, and that the delegates from the Southeast also did not toe the line of voting along the lines of a candidate of Igbo extraction?
Well, politics is a dynamic exercise. Sometimes you plot a different thing and you get a different result. I am sure the Southeast candidates did not focus only on getting the Southeast votes. So I think it's high time they stop lamenting only about the Southeast votes that they didn't get. They should have also worked hard to get votes from the other parts of the country. As much as I would have wished that they got enough votes from the Southeast to help them win the election. But I think they shouldn't have focused only on the Southeast votes, because the Southeast votes only could not deliver them to the presidential seat. Being a very highly competitive exercise, they should have tried to make strong inroads to the Northeast and Northwest and North Central, and also South and Southwest. I'm sure if they worked harder as much as that, nobody would be paying that much attention to the votes that they didn't get from the Southeast.
Obviously, they did make inroads in other parts of the country. I mean, because you wouldn't say that Governor Wike's 237 votes, for instance, none came from the north or none came from any other part of the country apart from the southeast and the south, really. But some people say it was just because of that last deal made with Atiku Abubakar that Tambawa did step down, and they're pointing accusing fingers, you know, as at the chairman of the party, Yocha Ayu, being complicit in all of that, because the day after, he went to say that Tambawa was the hero of the convention. So people are saying the PDP is fragmented.
No, not the PDP is not in any way fragmented. It's a normal horse trading that goes with politics. Go back to Jos, 1999. Jim Obodo actually crossed over to support Olusegun Obasanjo. Nothing new in it. Normally, when you go into the race and you find out that you can't win, you do horse trading. You negotiate with the person you think has a better chance of winning, and you align with him. And even what people talk about, the Southeast not voting for Southeast presidential aspirants. If you look at South-South, Delta State did not vote for Wike. Akwa Ibom didn't vote for Wike. Bayelsa didn't vote for Wike. And they do also had issues. So it's not a case of this group didn't vote for me. You just lobby for support across board. So that in whichever areas you find out that you can get enough votes to manage what you have, you can use to win, you proceed with it. What Ayu was saying when he visited Tambuwal was to appreciate the fact that but for him trading in his interest, that he made it easier for the party to come out of the convention without any squabble. So Tambuwal made it easy for the party, because if he had continued, nobody knows whether the presidential primaries would have ended with a stalemate. So if you are the national chairman of a party and an aspirant helps make your job easy for you to emerge with a candidate who wins with a broad majority, of course you thank him. That's exactly what he did, and I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay, what do you think of the politics of zoning, which is an issue in the two major political parties? In the PDP, there are many members of that party who are disappointed that the flag bearer is coming from the north, although some northerners say it's coming from a part of the country that had also been shortchanged relatively in the production of presidents of Nigeria. If you look at APC, zoning consensus also a big problem. We fear that indeed the flag bearer of that party may also again come from the north. So we face the possibility of, after 8 years of a Buhari presidency, you face the prospect of another 8 years of a northern presidency. What's your view on that? Do you think those who have been saying, look, it is our turn, and there must be some kind of political alchemy that should respect that right to rotate? What do you think?
One, I will say that zoning is good. I will encourage it. And I think we should do everything to enshrine it in our system so that it will help reassure frayed nerves across the ethnic divide. And starting with APC, it will be absolutely wrong, very, very unfair for them to send their presidential ticket to the north. I was a member of APC by 2013, 2014. I was a founding member of APC. And I know that there was an agreement to allow President Buhari to emerge so that after 8 years, it will come down to the south. So President Buhari will actually be acting in breach of that agreement if he ever supports a northern presidential candidate to emerge in APC. That would be very, very unfair. And for PDP, their case is a little different, because they have been doing the zoning, because Obasanjo was there first and he left and he came to Yaradua, and then Yaradua died, unfortunately, before he got to Jonathan. So PDP has actually been having zoning, and I believe that in every part of this country, there are very many qualified men and women to be president of this country. No bloc should think they have a monopoly of good candidates. And if we do zoning, it will help bring out all those good quality men and women across the different blocks in the country, and it will make everybody have a sense of belonging in this government and in this country.
Well, PDP now has one half of the presidential ticket, and what are your thoughts on the other half, the vice president? Who should, PDP should be looking at right now? Are you going to suggest a possible Southeastern man or woman? What kind of quality should the person have?
Thank you. I think PDP should allow their vice president to come from the southeast, and there are many good qualified people to be there. Governor Meki Hedionha is a good person to be that qualifies to hold that position. I think P2B should be encouraged to come back to PDP. I don't agree with him moving to Labour Party. And if he can agree to come back to PDP, he should be encouraged to accept it. And if you're looking at women, I think Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala should be asked to leave the job at WTO and come back so that he can bring his economic experience to bear. He can bring his international financial connections to bear. He can bring his every other opportunity he has to turn the economy around to bear in the government. And it must not be restricted to somebody who is actually a member of PDP. It should be thrown open to every other person who has something to contribute to help move Nigeria forward. Somebody who has good economic background, because we know the economy is in a very big mess. And unless we sort it out, no matter what you do at the security angle, it will not work. We need to create jobs, and we need to get somebody who can help fine-tune the economy. So I think there are many qualified people, and I think it should be given to the Southeast. And any of these people I've mentioned, and the more qualified, but it should be something that should go to Southeast.
You just made a case for zoning now, which a lot of people feel disgruntled. And I said before that the PDP is fragmented. Why? Because people like Ike Clark and the likes, and some other people within the party are saying the best thing the PDP should have done is to have zoned power to the south. But the PDP was so hell-bent on winning elections, so they kept it open, which invariably was zoning power to the north. But now you just supported zoning and say it will not be good for the APC to allow their candidate come from the north, that he should come from the south. Is this not hypocrisy?
No, it's not at all. Giving it to the Southeast in PDP will actually give them more votes, because when you come to the Southeast, the East will actually give them a lot of support if they give them the opportunity, considering how much they've been asking to be given the presidency. There are a lot of people who have been criticizing Igbo people, saying, why should they accept vice president? But my answer is simple. By the time the North were strongly agitated to take over the presidency, it didn't stop Sambu from being vice president to Jonathan. By the time Babangida took away MKO Abiola's June 12 mandate, it didn't stop Ernest Shonekan from being there in acting capacity. It didn't stop Oladipo Dia from being the vice president to Abacha. So I think there is nothing wrong in an Igbo person being the vice president to Atiku, because it will help PDP to win the election. But it has to be a very credible Igbo person, and it has to be somebody who can help deliver, to help move this economy forward, and to help move the country forward.
Okay, quickly, let me ask you. Are you aware, and I would like you to react to that, to the statement by Ohanaeze Ndigbo, an Igbo Elders Forum at a point, that no Igbo person should accept the position of number 2, the position of a running mate, and that what Ndigbo wants is that number 1 position, and that the Southeast should only vote for parties that are willing to have an Igbo as their flag bearer. However, I've heard some people say that all the persons you mentioned as likely running mates to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, to the extent that they are not members, or they may not be members of either Igbo Elders Forum or Ohanaeze Ndigbo, then nobody can take them to task. They can make their own individual choices. That's one. The second point was a question I originally started with. Now, if you happen to win and you get to the Senate to represent Imo East Senatorial District, what will be your senatorial agenda?
Thank you very much. For the first one, I think that Ohanaeze Ndigbo made that statement at the time they felt that we should focus on getting the presidency. Now that we have fought for the presidency and we didn't win it, what are we going to do? Go empty-handed? No. We have to go for what is available while continuing the agitation for the presidency. And that is why I believe that I am sure that they have also changed their position, and they are now in support of Igbo people, an Igbo person being made the vice president. It doesn't stop the agitation for Igbo presidency. So we also have a proverb that kama ehigiga wafugebubri no. So in this particular case, we can take the vice president. The proverb I gave is that instead of you to lose your cow, you take the tail and be eaten while you get your cow back. So I think we should go ahead, fight aggressively, lobby aggressively, and push aggressively until we get vice presidency. And then we stand on that mantle to continue to fight for Igbo presidency, or Nigerian president of Igbo extraction. On the second question, if given the opportunity by the vote of the people of Imo East of becoming the senator representing Imo East in the National Assembly in 2023, there are many issues I hope to pursue aggressively. One of it includes that I will be pushing for an amendment to the Universal Basic Education Law, which today allows for free education from primary school to JSS 3. I do not know of anybody who can get any job with a JSS 3 certificate. So I will strongly be pushing for the Universal Basic Education Law to extend the period to SS3. So there should be free education from primary 1 to SS3, so that at least every child in Nigeria should have opportunity of getting free education from primary 1 to SS3 to enable them get opportunity of that level of education to be able to fit into what should be the new Nigerian Nigeria that we are looking forward to. I also believe that Imo people have been seriously shortchanged. We have been denied opportunity of being in the railway map of Nigeria. I will fight to ensure that we are included in the railway map of Nigeria, which Amechi Rotimi effectively excluded us. We have to be drawn into it. And I want to state this without equivocation, that the best and the most profitable railway line or railway route that Nigeria can have will be southeast to southwest. It will be very, very profitable, much more than any other railway route you have. So there is every need to build that railway link between the southeast and southwest, which will be a very viable route and which will generate a lot of fund to the Nigerian railway, and thereby giving us opportunity of moving goods and services effectively from the southeast to the southwest. I also think that Owerri Airport, which is presently designated as an international cargo airport for many years now, we are going to plead with the federal government. Go beyond calling it international cargo airport. Make it a full-fledged international airport, so that goods and services that will serve both Onitsha and Aba, where Owerri and Imo is situated in the middle, will flow more easily, and the commerce will definitely be more effective. There is nothing wrong in us pushing for this to be given to us. And we need more trunk A routes operating from Owerri, connecting the rest of our neighboring states. We have great opportunities of Imo State and Owerri, which is in the center of it in the southeast, being a hub that will help for economic development of the entire southeast.
Right. What do you say to those who are anxious about the high turnover of lawmakers that we're going to witness come 2023? Some people have even described it as a brain drain of the legislative arm of government, the dearth of experienced senators and House of Reps members because of upstarts like yourself, people like you who unseated a sitting senator. What do you say to that anxiety?
A little correction, I'm not a new member. I was in the National Assembly between 2003 to 2007 as a member of House of Representatives. So I'm only just going back there this time around as a senator, having been in the House of Representatives. And there is nothing that says that if you are a one-time senator going for a second term, you will do better than somebody who is coming as a fresher. If you notice, the governors have made the Senate a retirement home for most of them, and they go there to occupy a lot of space. So I do not see anything wrong in some of these governors who go there to keep busy, to relax, giving way for very dynamic senators to come in. So I don't see, I'm sure the people, the populace should decide, the voters should decide who will give them better representation. And if they choose that it's a new person, so be it. There's nothing anybody can do about it.
So a lot of people are also arguing, based on what you said, that the Igbos too should, take the vice president, fight for it, and keep it. A lot of people are arguing that that's another high level of hypocrisy, in the sense that the Igbos have been taking the vice president slot for over 44 years now. The first time the Igbos took the vice president slot was in 1979 elections, which two front-running parties had Philip Omiedi and the former vice president of Nigeria. I forget his name now. His name just got into my head. The architect, really. The first PhD holder in architecture in Nigeria. Alex Ekweme, yeah, Dr. Alex Ekweme.
Alex Ekweme.
Ekweme, yeah. So that was 1979. And since then, when you cascade it downwards, the Igbos have been taking the vice presidential slot. In 2003, President Buhari's running mate was Chuba Akadibo. We've had Ben Obi, we've had Peter Obi, and the list keeps going on and on and on. So after 44 years, when you argue that they should take the vice president's slot, a lot of people are saying that's hypocrisy again. And secondly, good laudable plan as regards education. But do we have the money to pay for it, to have free education from primary to secondary school level, owing to the fact that the first person that tried free education used 1/3 of his budget in the Western region to fulfill it?
The United Nations recommendation is that 30% of every country's budget should be designated for education. So I believe that if we designate 30%, it definitely will cover what we are going to need to give free education from primary school to SS3. And there are too many areas we can cut. We spend so much on defense. Who are we fighting? Our neighbors, we can defeat them with Boy Scout. And we can't fight the bigger people out there. So why do we spend all that money on defense? We should cut down defense budget and take the excess and put it into education to give our children good education. The whole of Africa, we are not fighting anybody. And we can't fight Europe or America. So why do we waste a lot of money on defense? Back to the other issue of hypocrisy or no hypocrisy. I believe that the fact that an Igbo person becomes a vice president does not derogate from the fact that we still seriously want to produce president. And we should hold what we have or what is easily accessible while fighting for other things. I believe, for example, if Peter Obi didn't step out of PDP and go to Labour Party, that everybody will be going for him and asking him to be the vice president. And who says you cannot graduate from vice president to becoming president? Is Sibajo not running for president today? So there are too many ways for anybody to access presidency. Some can, whatever means anybody can use to help make an Igbo man president of Nigeria is welcome. If you do your own through PDP, you're welcome. Do it through APC, you're welcome. Or do it through some other means by negotiation and diplomacy. It is also allowed. There's nothing hypocritical about it. But what I am saying, we should not put all our eggs in one basket. And while doing the agitation, reach out to what is available, hold on to it while campaigning for what you are pushing for. It doesn't diminish from it. And other people have done it in the past. And there is this example you have given that Igbo people have had vice president. We have only had vice president once. And that was under Alex Ekweme, under Ashahagari with Alex Ekweme as vice president. Other people have also gotten vice presidential slots. Even under the military, we have only had the opportunity of having somebody who you can refer to as vice president. That's a bit Ukiwe. But the Southwest have had Oladipo Diya. Aikobo has come from the other angle. So I don't think it will be proper to blackmail Igbo people and make it seem as if we have always often gotten vice president. We have only gotten it once under Shagari through Alex Ekweme. So we have to keep struggling to produce the president of Nigeria. But within the period we are involved in this struggle, whatever is possible, we should hang on to it. And we should hold on to it firmly while making our contribution to the development of Nigeria. Okay. If anybody is criticizing that, are you then suggesting that we should fight? No, we don't have to fight. That is the nature of politics. It is God who gives power, and it is God who takes it. For a long time, the blacks in the United States of America have always been contesting for president of the United States through Jesse Jackson and several other people. But see how many years it took before Obama emerged. So we are going to continue to agitate to have a president of Igbo extraction, but we will take the vice president if that is what is within our reach at this moment. And I think as it is possible for us to grab it, and I will support that we grab it, and I'm sure Hanese will support it, and I'm sure that every well-meaning Igbo person should also support it. I also believe that deep down, Peter Obi would know that if he were still in PDP, that he would be the strongest person running to be the vice president of Nigeria today, and that gives him a running opportunity to become the president of Nigeria tomorrow. So I am for lobbying Peter to come back from Labour Party to PDP so that we can begin to make progress in this direction. Okay. Atiku needs to be given somebody who has great ideas on how to move the economy forward, and that is where I stand.
Thank you so much, for your time. Really appreciate you.